and I wanted to talk a little bit about his Vedic chart. We don't know his birth time, so I can't make a chart to figure out what his ascendant is. So that's not probably not going to be accurate. So instead, I have this moon chart. If you look here on the left, what you can do is if you don't have someone's birth time, you can just put 12 o'clock, like midday, and then you could set it on a moon chart, which puts the moon in the ascendant in the first house on the chart. So then everything is from the moon's perspective. And in Vedic astrology, the moon is the primary planet to pay attention to. So actually, they emphasize the ascendant as the most important one to look at, and then secondarily from there it's the moon, and then it's the sun. So what you can see in his Vedic chart is he actually has sun and moon in Scorpio, along with Saturn and Uranus. He has 4 planets in Scorpio. So that's like Mars energy. It has like some themes of like deep transformation, but also like control and dominance and like kind of the like seductive kind of energy. But it goes like really really deep, but very very martial kind of energy, very action oriented. What I've been noticing for Scorpios, looking at Vedic, there's a lot of like either fighters or like strongman bodybuilders, also people who go into really deep psychological things, and like sexuality is a big part of it. So I'll just list a few different Scorpios that I have on my list here. Britney Spears is a Scorpio sun. Eddie Hall, the strongman, ex strongman, he's a Scorpio moon. Jimi Hendrix is a Scorpio sun. Joseph Stalin, Scorpio sun. Larry Wheels, he's a Scorpio moon. Michael Jordan's a Scorpio moon. Nicki Minaj is a Scorpio sun. Let's see who else. Stanley Kubrick is a Scorpio moon. Thor Bjornsson, half Thor Bjornsson, is a Scorpio sun. And Travis Scott is a Scorpio moon, and XXX Tentacion is a Scorpio moon. So you can get kind of the idea of what Scorpio energy is like. So that's like one of the main things I wanted to point out in this chart. And then there's one of the other things I could see is, so you can read a chart from the moon, like I'm saying. So from the moon, there's the Mars and Jupiter are in Aquarius in the 4th house from the moon. So this is dealing with home environment. So what he's doing in the home, and he has Mars there and Jupiter. So it's like basically that kind of dominating energy with Mars, and then Jupiter's like the teacher. Aquarius is very future thinking, future oriented, very eccentric. But one of the things you can see here is there's something called Parivartana that's happening because Mars is in Aquarius, and the ruler of Aquarius is Saturn, and Saturn is in Scorpio, which is Mars sign. So basically, Mars is in Saturn's sign Aquarius, and Saturn is in Mars sign Scorpio. So there's an energy going back and forth. We don't know exactly which are the original houses that this is happening in, but at least from the moon's perspective, there's a connection between the 4th house from the moon and where the moon is. So that's the home environment is really big, and he's got like mansions, and he has his whole business running on in his mansion, and he has all the women there with their cameras and stuff going on. And he has all this stuff happening behind the scenes that he doesn't show everybody what's going on. So yeah, that's one of the big things in this chart. Another thing to look at is he's got Rahu in Pisces, and it's in the 5th house from the moon, which is tied to creativity. Pisces is also very creative. And K2 is in Virgo, so that brings some kind of analytical ability from past lives, and it's in the 11th house from the moon. The K2 is, so that's like a connection to groups from past lives, is what that indicates. So that's just a couple things I wanted to point out in his Vedic chart. A lot of Scorpio energy and some Aquarius. He actually has some Libra stuff going on too, because Venus is in Libra in its own sign, and Mercury's in Libra, and Pluto is in Libra. So some Libra stuff going on too. So that's all I wanted to say from his Vedic chart.